Alright guys, welcome back to the shop. Today is Sunday. It's about 8:30 in the morning. It's gonna be a beautiful day. It's cool. A little bit breezy outside, but I think we're gonna have perfect conditions to do some painting today, hopefully. I don't think it's even supposed to get up in the 90s today. So I've already got the cab cleaned up and it should be ready to go. I've got to mix up my epoxy primer. When you mix the epoxy primer with the hardener, you need to let it sit about 10 minutes to activate. What I'm going to do while I'm waiting for that 10 minutes is I'm going to go ahead and tack off the cab. I'm going to give it a tack cloth and tack it down. Make sure I got all the dust off. And as soon as we get done with that, we should be ready to spray. Alright guys, just got done spraying the second coat and cleaning my gun. I use this cheap siphon feed. It's must have rubbed the sticker off, but I think it is a Chicago pneumatic from Harbor Freight. And I had problems with water leaking. I think it was either coming from the quick connect or it was coming from my hands and arms, but I kept getting drips on that second coat. Didn't do it on the first coat, but I didn't start sweating until later. And that siphon gun did an okay job, except for spraying the cab, the top of the cab. It was real hard for me to remember to keep the thing up, and I end up touching. When I got the door sprayed, I can still see where I patched it, and I put 3 coats on that. Over here you can see where I got a drip of water in it. I don't know if you'll be able to see up here where I scratched it or not, but everything is good and black. And we'll come back and wet sand a few little areas. I didn't put but 1 coat up here, but I got a good coat on it. Siphon feed just don't work well when you're trying to spray up. I probably should have used my other gun for that, because you can spray upside down with it. I got 2 good coats over the back. I hope I got it on the sides good. The dash, it looks pretty good to be flat black, but anyway, I'm gonna let this dry for a while, probably about 3 hours before I start trying to do any wet sanding. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to wet sand a few little areas that I messed up, but you know, you do what you can to try to keep the water off. It's difficult, especially in the summertime, to keep from sweating on it, especially if you're leaning over it. So anyway, that's where I'm at, and I don't see any major runs, which is probably a miracle in itself. This thing, it took me a minute to get it dialed in. I got a water spot right there. It took me a minute to get it dialed in to where I was actually spraying decent with it. You can see where I was adjusting, where I was close here. It did have a little run, but I found that if you keep the gun about 6 inches off the top, maybe a little less, 4 to 6 inches off the surface, it sprayed pretty well. If you tried to move it back, it just fogged it. So other than just a few little minor places, I think we're about good. So anyway guys, I'll bring you back when we get ready to spray the gray. Alright guys, got done with the second coat. I've already took off the mask, and I had a lot of this masked up, but where I didn't, I've got overspray. I got the gray painted on the door. I've seen a couple little minor dents. I'm not worried about them. I did have a little more streaking. don't know if that's going to really show bad in with the clear coat on. Probably will, but this does look like gray now, so I'm happy with that. I've got an issue with my spray gun, and I got up against the truck here, and up here I can't tell it. I can't tell that it's streaked. It, you know, it looks fine, but down at the ground, looking back this way, I can tell it, and you can probably see it also, that it's streaked. But anyway, we got it painted, and it does look gray now. So actually I like the color flat black or gray. That looks pretty good. Up in here I got a lot of overspray. I forgot to mask this window off, and you can see right over there, there's a whole lot. I'm gonna have to try to sand some of that off, I guess. I already had everything masked, and then I realized that, hey, I better mask this window, so I just kind of half-assed that. So that's the reason I got some overspray in there. But and you can tell up in here I got a little overspray. There's where I masked, there's where I didn't. So I got overspray here. I'm gonna try like I did the last time with that prep oil, see if it won't wipe off. If not, I may have to sand it a little bit. But I got a lot of overspray on this stuff, and I wouldn't have never thought that'd been that much, but apparently it gets everywhere, from here to here with mask, but still got a good bit of overspray. Well, I'll wipe everything down good with prep oil, and if I have to, I'll sand that there off and clean it up. It's going to be a few hours before I can tape this gray. I just have sprayed it, and I still see a little bit of specks from that sealer. I should have sanded it down a little bit better than I did, but anyway, it's one of them deals you're just ready to get done with it, and then I had to do it twice too. That really sucked. So anyway, guys, I'll bring it back and we'll get the blue sprayed, and then I'll show you what it looks like after clear coat. Alright guys, I'm going to show you what happened. I'm going to give you a warning to do not use a reducer to try to remove overspray. Alright? Because if you do, this is what happens. It takes the damn urethanes all the way down. So I'm not worrying too much about this. I believe that blue will cover it all right, but thank God I didn't do it over there first. So that reducer is some pretty powerful stuff. That's the only thing that I found that will clean the guns with this urethane spray. Paint thinner will not clean this stuff out, so you got to use the reducer. And what I should have been doing is using some other reducer. I've got some medium reducer that I should have been using instead of my good reducer, but I got a whole nother gallon. But that paint thinner will not clean urethane paint. All right, thought I'd let y'all know that in case you're going to be doing this. Don't use reducer to try to wipe up overspray. It'll take it down. Alright guys, I got one coat of blue on. I've had some technical difficulties. My gun, my finish line gun, it just spewed damn paint everywhere, so I couldn't use it. I dumped it in my siphon feed, and I'm damn if it didn't damn drip everywhere. So the other issues I'm having is where I had big paint drips, and I come by and wipe them up. You can see one there, one here, and right here, that's got to be resprayed black. But other than that, the blue on the black looks beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's just amazing to me. Let's see some spots I didn't get very good. And all down through here I missed a big spot. That damn gun was acting a damn fool, but not near as bad as my finish line. I got to rebuild it. I think I've lost some seals in it. I know y'all probably ain't gonna be able to tell very well, but I got everything pretty good. I see some minor runs, not bad, considering what I was using. It's just amazing to me that it ain't running everywhere. But it really, I love that blue. That's what it was supposed to be to start with. Unfortunately, I've got to leave this masked because I've got to finish spraying this damn thing. I don't like to leave paint masked for a long time, but it takes about 2 hours to mask this truck. You can see how that gun was spitting. So it's 7:30 p.m. Sunday evening. The only way that I could possibly try it again is I got one more gun that I've never used. It's a siphon feed HVLP I bought years ago from Harbor Freight. It's one of their better ones. I actually tried to use it, but I never could figure it out. I might clean it up and try it. That's the gun I used. I used it to prime with, and I also used it to paint, but it did a lot better job priming than it did the painting part. And I've got a little bitty gun. It's a touch-up. Looks like a touch-up gun. I've never used it. It's a Husky. You can see what a small tip's on it. And I'm thinking about using it to respray that black in a few spots. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this gun up and try to hit another coat so I can unmask it tonight. I hate leaving that thing masked overnight. I'm gonna have paint peeling if I don't. I got something fluttering in here. Oh, that damn paper. So I'm gonna get it cleaned up and try to hurry up and spray another coat on most of it and see what happens. Alright guys, I got the second coat sprayed. It wasn't easy. That gun is it just wasn't acting good, but most of it turned out pretty well. I've got a few spots here and there that I'm gonna have to do something about. These three little spots here, I don't know if you can see them. I've got to sand that down and shoot it back with some sealer. Right here I've got to sand down and shoot back with sealer. Right on the A-pillar. Amazingly, I don't see any runs, and I don't see how. I do not like that yellow tape. The yellow tape had a little bleed through right in there, around there. So I think I'm gonna go back by Home Depot and get some that 3M sensitive surface Here's where I taped it up here on the gray, taped it here for the black. And I'm not really worried about that because that'll be hid. So that don't bother me. You can see the difference painting the blue over black versus painting it over a lighter color. This is the color it was meant to be, and my hands are filthy. Look at that, there's smeared dirt all over it. This is the color I meant it to be the whole time. It's a dark navy blue. And I'm really surprised it turned out as good as it did, because that gun is junk. My good gun's junk. I got to get a rebuild kit. I do still see some streaks up there. The door actually turned out pretty well also. I missed a bunch of dents, but I'm not worried about it. At this point, I just need this thing together because I've got lots more to do, and not enough time to do everything. Everything inside here pretty much turned out good. Like I said, I don't see any runs, so it's a miracle, but she's almost ready for clear coat. I'm going to touch them up tomorrow, hit it with some, sand it down, hit it with some primer sealer here and there. This was my big boo-boo, using that, trying to get that overspray off. If I just left it overspray, it would have been just a few little light specks in there and nobody would have ever noticed it. The fan's good and blue. So anyway, guys, I have got to get some guns going. I mean, you can see where I was trying to figure out why I was spraying so heavy, and that shit was just running. No water in it though, so that's a good thing. And until next time, until I get ready to clear coat it, thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't.